All you need is one name. This man is the greatest networker I know.
You're so kind.
If you tell him something that you need, he's got people, I got a couple people to call. Next thing you know, you got a LinkedIn introduction.
As Ken says, I got a guy.
I got a guy.
I got a guy.
And I got a purse.
And then in his spare time, when he's not networking, when he's not speaking, when he's not helping people organize things, I think you run a telephone
Something like
business
that,
of
yeah.
something like that. So he's here. I was told he was bringing presents for everybody, but it's really a presentation about presents
Yes.
and dealing in the world today with online. And he's gonna, your online presence, your face-to-face presence,
Right.
and he's got two really good people speaking with him who he will introduce.
Right. Thank you. Thank you,
Anu.
Mark. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Breakfast all down, right? A couple of ground rules that I wanted to set up. I'm going to bring Merle and Marcus up here. Most of you know both of them, or one of them at least. And a couple of ground rules we're going to do set up. We wanted you to put your cell phones and your mobile phones out in front of you. Just put them on vibrate and put them on silent. But if you get texts or emails, or if you want to get on Facebook or tweet, and tell them exactly what you're doing, please go ahead and do it. But please put your cell phones, your mobile phones right in front of you. Put it on silent or vibrate. That's all. So that's one thing. And our purpose here, both for Merle and Marcus, is that we want to engage and have a conversation about how we are behaving today in business. What do we need to do to stay ahead of the curve? How do we establish presence? How do people find us? How are we listening to what's going on? And are we just using one medium that works for us? Or do we need to use multiple medium? So we'll talk about that a little bit here. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce Merle. Merle, why don't you tell everybody about yourself, what you are, who you do, what you do.
What I do.
What
Good
do you
morning.
do? Yeah.
My name is Merle Kaliski. My company is Excel Incorporated. We're an inbound and outbound telemarketing company. We've been in business for the past 25 years. We're a national company. All of my staff is local within the United States, so we don't outsource anywhere else. And we make the phone calls that help companies grow their business. We do lead generation, appointment setting, database updating, surveys. So for the busy business owners that don't have the time or the manpower, sometimes it's the desire or the ability to make phone calls on their own. We make those phone calls for them to work with them to grow their business.
Marcus?
Yes. Marcus Loving with Online Market Domination. Kind of like the name of our company, we help companies to strategically dominate their market online. And I'd like to always start out asking a question. How many of you consider yourself an expert at what you do? Well, I hope to see everyone's hand. My next question is does Google and the internet know it? And that's really what we do, is we help the internet, we help the people that are looking, your potential clients, know about you, know enough about you, and help you start to build that know, like, trust relationship so that they'll want to engage with you on the online world. I'm also an author and a speaker, and I love to get in front of crowds like this and empower business owners to embrace the web. I call it the wild, wild web, and harness this amazing tool that we have at our fingertips so that you can get a higher ROI and get more customers through the door. So that's what we do. And I'll turn it back over to you.
So, for all intent and purposes, none of you can live without your cell phone or mobile phone, right? Today? True. Am I correct? Correct. Does anybody disagree with us? No. Good. Secondly, 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, other time when you first got into business, those things didn't exist. Our only form of communication was the phone on the wall or the phone on the desk, and when we came to work, we picked up a phone, got our voicemail messages, and behaved accordingly, right? Whether we had to call back a customer or do whatever we had to do, but that's how we communicated. Am I correct? Mm-hmm. But now, we cannot live without this. So then, that leads into a question, is then we are networking, we all run our businesses every day. This is what we were discussing, is how are you spending your time as a business owner? And does these activities generate any revenue for you? Okay.
Well, I'm the old school guy that answers my telephone the old way, but I have the exposure. People do come to me by way of the internet. but they still call, and I ask people, how did you find me? Everybody that calls, I want to know where my exposure is. So I am still in the telephone books. You're all going to go, oh no! But I'm not there to get new business. I'm there for credibility purposes. So they say, oh yeah, I've seen him, or there he is. And I just checked myself out this morning on the internet. I'm listed all over the places with search engines I never even heard of. But it's not really telling a story about me. It's not promoting me. It's mostly about credibility. Our inbound is phenomenal, so we're okay as far as leads. But I've seen the technology change. I used to have mobile phones before they were called cell phones. I had the briefcase. I had the bag phone.
Yeah,
All right?
great.
I remember a pager going off in the elevator, and somebody next to me, Alan, bring home Chinese food, was his wife paging him with a voice pager. But getting back to the technology and the question, we can't live without it. It's my oxygen. It's my blood.
Right. Okay. How about you, Keith? You know, we've had this discussion that you have struggled and you're still not sure how to portray yourself in the social media, LinkedIn. You're under certain constraints. Am I right?
Well, yes. As an attorney, there are disciplinary rules which are very archaic as compared with the kinds of things that people in other professions can do. For instance, it is a serious infraction to say that you specialize as a lawyer in a particular area of practice. You can use some other synonyms, but you can't say you're a specialist unless you're a maritime lawyer or a trademark lawyer. They created an exception for them because they didn't understand that when they were creating the rules.
So, Marcus, how would you help him? How can, with the skills that you have and what you do, how can you help Keith?
Well, the first is to define what your message is, and you know who is your target audience. First of all, you know who are you trying to reach. You know you can't specialize in. However, you have areas of expertise.
Concentration.
Concentration. I like
You don't
that.
say
Concentration.
expertise,
Right.
that's it.
Areas of concentration.
Yeah.
And focusing in that area, and then it's really about building a foundation online. You know, it starts with a good website. It starts with good value of content, getting you established on the major social networks such as LinkedIn, making sure that your LinkedIn story reflects the story that you're trying to tell. Same thing with a Facebook page, YouTube video. Video is very powerful, and so really it's really like you getting clear about what your message is, and then spending the time to put that foundation together to get the word out.
And it's not unique to attorneys. If
Right.
you're in the financial services industry, you're not even allowed to be on Facebook. You have to be very careful about what you say. If you're a realtor, same thing. And when we're making phone calls and when we're calling into people, you need to deal with somebody who understands the rules and the ins and outs so that you don't step over those bounds. So that if you're in the financial services industry, everybody I know in that industry isn't even allowed to have a Facebook page. They have to be very careful about what they tweet and how they communicate on a regular business. So whether it's the banking industry, the financial services industry, you're an attorney, you're in real estate, anything that's regulated, your communication needs to be really clear because it's very much monitored. So you need to deal with somebody who understands those industries and doesn't step on the wrong toes.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is that we've had some financial planners come to us and try to come up with some creative solutions. And see, you can't say it as an attorney. However, I'm an individual person. I can create a website, I can create a lead generation site, and I can say almost anything I want to. That's obviously honest, ethical, and true. We're not stretching. However, we've created some solutions that allow us to give a financial planner, an attorney, that presence out there without them being restrained. Let's just leave it at that.
Constrained.
Jim, you're just starting out your practice, Country Financial, right?
Right.
Average sailor, captain, we're just waiting when you get your boat out, so all of us can start meeting there.
Absolutely, we're gonna,
But it's invite only.
it's
Am I correct?
invite
Invite
only,
only.
but everyone's invested.
But with Country Financial, now that you're opening up, you've opened up an office about a year and a half old.
Yeah.
And what are the struggles that you're seeing? How to get what are like more pointed out, use Facebook.
Yeah.
But you traditionally use it, pick up the phone, make a phone call.
Well, as anybody in any sales business will tell you, lead generation and cold calling and making phone calls are a big part of the business. The Facebook and the social media is something that changes more rapidly than regulation and things like that, but I actually can have a Facebook page now, and I'm FINRA regulated. But, you know, very, very constrained. If someone says I'm good at something, I have to take it down immediately or hide it. So, you know, so that there are challenges like that. And as far as lead generation goes and stuff, you know, there are many companies out there that do that across many spectrums, but we talk about the time to make the calls and set the appointments is certainly a big part of it.
So you just made a comment that somebody puts a comment about you, he's got to take it down.
Yeah.
Somebody puts,
So
hey,
somebody says,
thanks, great.
Jim's good at this.
Yeah.
I have to immediately remove that.
What about bad
Take it, hide
comments?
it.
What about bad comments? Leave it up there?
Bad comments, bad comments is regulated. It's like you can sell, you can't sell short if you buy all you want. No, yeah, basically, anything, basically.
So,
Firms like Hearsay that will check, you know, will check your content in a corporate context. So that if I post something, you know, or someone posts something on Hearsay, check this.
who absolutely loves to make cold calls, pick up the phone every day, make 50 calls on a daily basis? I'm not asking you, I'm talking. Larry, you do?
Yes,
Most of us don't, right?
I start out every day with a goal of getting 25 no's.
Every morning?
Because I know if I make 25 calls, I
Wow.
make it one or two, and generally do, who are receptive to learning more about what I do.
That's interesting.
Go for the no.
Maybe you should hire him.
Telling you, go for the no. Who said that?
Larry,
Absolutely.
That was actually a great book someone recommended that to me when I first considered this.
Go for the no, smile and dial, there's a bunch of
If you
them.
get
Yeah,
two yeses, that just means you got 23 more no's.
Right.
That's correct.
Wow.
exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
So is that a norm in the industry? I'm sure 'cause
Yes.
that's what you do. So why don't you expand on that a little bit? Is some of us who are here who are not that excited about picking up the phone and making phone calls, how can you help them?
Well, I'll tell you what I tell all my clients is that if you don't call your prospects, somebody else is. So that's first of all. And I'll sit down with a client and I'll say, give me your top 10 businesses. If you could get into these businesses, would that make your day? And they all have a list, right? Everybody's got that, oh my God, I want to get into this business list. And the first thing I say is, have you contacted them? And they usually say, no. Exactly. So how do they even know you exist? How are you ever going to do business with them if you don't pick up the phone and call them? And if you think they're out of your reach, then guess what? They are. So we start with that. And then we also look at where is your bread and butter coming from? So while those would be the gravy and that would be awesome, where's your bread and butter come from? Look at your markets. Look at where your income is being generated and call into those markets. Whether it's local, whether it's national, whether it's a lateral market, are you doing a lot of business with manufacturing? Are you doing a lot of business with bankers? And that's how you start to target your market to grow your business, to not only make the calls, but make the effective calls that are going to grow your revenue.
So you're suggesting some of us who do not like to cold call, which is about 95% of the room here? 99%?
Nobody likes to. No, but it's still the basis that if you're doing direct mail, if you're on Facebook, if you're sending emails, if you're doing lead generation, if you're getting the word out in email blasts, you still need, at the end of the day, to pick up the phone. You still need to make that call and have that contact so that people know that you're out there, so that they know who you are. Possibly they've seen your name on the internet, possibly they've received your email, or they've gotten your collateral material in the mail, but if you don't call them, somebody else will get their business.
So, thank you. I was having, very interesting. She's a banker with Wintrust. I don't know if you met her. You should meet her, actually. She made a comment when sitting there. She said, you'll be surprised how many manufacturers are out tweeting and blogging. You're in the manufacturing space, or putting holes into some things. That's all I know. Are you doing that? Or have you thought of blogging? Are you doing tweeting and everything? as a business?
That's not even my department. You have to talk
Okay,
to
what is
my-
your company?
I presume they are. I
Okay.
presume they are. It's definitely something that I need to learn more about myself.
Okay.
It's
Why don't you
just-
tell a little bit about your business, you know, this is how that has changed, you know, manufacturing over the
We're
years?
in the metal fabricating business,
Right.
and we, there's a lot of people that use fabricated metal parts, and we have this, what you were talking about, these target markets that we're looking to get into, like the lighting industry, the architectural industry, the point of purchase display, people that are designing point of purchase displays. So we have those target markets where we're looking into. As far as telemarketing, we don't do it. There's nobody in my company that does pure telemarketing, and it's probably important today. But for example, for myself, I don't like to do it. But like you say, there's a need for it, and to get people to know that we're out there, that we care. Just not an email to make a call. So I guess that what you're asking for, right?
Right, so everybody gotta have established a presence, no matter what business you're in, right? Is that what?